Today, I was at the Cyber Risk Alliance, the official cybersecurity summit in Tampa, Florida. Great event today, local regional event that they host. Lots of cybersecurity people there, all on stage. JD Miller did a great job of hosting. Really, really great event. It's great to go to these regional events and kind of feel the locals there. I had 4 great conversations today. Mark Hardy, great conversation with Mark, fellow podcaster, former military person, has a great podcast now, talks about security. Mike Siers. Mike came up to me with this really, really, really novel security invention, I'm going to call it. Just a new, unique way of looking at security. Really enjoyed my conversation with Mike. I look forward to talking more with Mike. Linton Harris, he's a manager of a SOC, Security Operations Center. What goes on in a SOC? Have you ever been to one? He manages one that's 3 shifts and what happens. It's a fascinating conversation with Linton. And finally with JD Miller himself, Senior Vice President there at Cyber Risk Alliance, former sportscaster, just a really, really great host all day. The energy was way up to the very end where they were raffling. I mean, really great energy from JD. We talk a lot about the event itself, and he's a golfer, and about sports, and about a few other things we talked about. It was a great conversation. I look forward to working with JD in the future. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How'd I lose the weight? Just one word, discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission? How do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision, growth through learning from others. So you said you started in the military?
I did, yeah.
Doing what?
I was in a Florida National Guard. I wanted to help Floridians in hurricanes and go to college. I ended up getting deployed to Afghanistan as military police.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Tell me what that was like.
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. 2004 to 2005, yeah.
Life-changing.
It impacted everything in my life, yeah. I came back, recognized that military personnel were twice as likely to get ALS than the average individual. So I ended up creating the world's first metabolic line for patients with ALS.
Wow.
Yeah,
with
cool.
ALS?
With ALS.
And why ALS?
Well, because military were twice as likely to get ALS as average. But mostly, in my life-changing event and having symptoms of PTSD, I turned to supplements and to kind of take the edge off. That ended up getting me in the supplement industry, and then I empathized with one caregiver whose husband had ALS. She was frantic trying to locate this protocol that this doctor created. And I put it together for her. Wow. Basic empathy, yeah.
In this fast-paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection powered by ForzaDash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading ForzaDash MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the ForzaDash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. Do you find your life where you see these problems and you're creating solutions, was it a normal pattern for you, Mike?
That's all I do. It's a very frustrating life.
And the entry to cybersecurity was how?
Once again, empathy. I'm a father. I'm watching my 4-year-old son. Single father. Watching my 4-year-old son play around on an iPad.
You're mentioning this, yeah.
And then I realized his world's going to be incredibly digital. We're living in a time right now where we're all fighting for what we think our rights are. We need to redefine them. No one's really thinking about the upcoming generation, and they're going to predominantly spend most of their time digitally.
Wow.
So how do they protect their rights online? How do they protect themselves? And then I stumbled upon the MIT Thesis by U.S. Space Force Major Jason Lowry, where it described, the title of the thesis was called Soft War, a novel theory on power projection and the national strategic significance of Bitcoin.
Jeez.
And the whole novel, the whole MIT thesis was about how we project power in our physical world, and that creates order. As an example, if I get mad at someone, I don't run off and hit them because I know the police will come and arrest me.
Consequences.
Right.
Yeah.
So that threat of power projection keeps me in line, keeps everyone else in line. But when you move to a digital space, power projection doesn't exist. Everything is built on logic, if, then, else statements. We have to have compliance to report and stay on top of everything. So you can shift that whole paradigm by introducing a cost-based authentication. And when you do that, now all of a sudden anyone that's unauthorized, an attacker, has to inherit risk to even make an attempt. Therefore, you should, if you're an MSP, if you're any sort of technology solution, you shouldn't wake up in the morning and have unauthorized events or access attempts. And if you did, you should realize a dollar value from each one of those.
But in the military, you were never in any tech.
No.
And your experience in technology before witnessing your son interact with a pad was what?
My father was a software engineer. And all my life, he always told me to get into computers.
Yeah.
Because he told me that, I went the opposite way.
Of course.
Apple changed that for me. The first time I ever bought a Mac, instead of being greeted with a blue screen, it took me on some sort of graphical interface journey around the universe. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And then I wanted to understand everything about how that machine worked. And I learned I had a knack for software.
But Mike, not everybody's looking at MIT papers. So, I mean, was this a common just daily, just every once in a while just look at some papers from MIT? I mean, how did that get into your...
Because I was in the military, I got curious about what Space Force was.
Yeah. New branch of the Army.
Yeah.
But it's not an independent branch. It's part of...
Air Force.
It's part of the Air Force.
Yeah. But still, when you introduce something new, it has this funny, silly name.
Sure
but
does, yeah.
I just stumbled upon it. I forgot about it for a while, and then I thought, wait, what do they do? I had basic questions. What do they do? What do their uniforms look like?
Yeah.
Right. And I was just curious. And then at the same time the curiosity came was the same time this MIT thesis came out, and I just thought I would learn more about Space Force. Unbeknownst to me, I registered. I understood the power projection. I equated the problem that we don't project force in cyberspace with the problem I was seeing with that my son might inherit in the future.
Right.
And I read this thesis over and over and over again because the major never came out and said how. And so I finally, in this obsession, needed to come up with a scenario to just understand, put a point on the thesis. And the scenario I came up with, I said, okay, this is such a different way of thinking.
Yeah.
Let me imagine a way I would apply it. So I came up and I said, I'm going to imagine that there's a crime spree occurring where criminals are running around with a duffel bag filled with every garage door opener conceivable, and they're opening garage doors at will. All it's costing them is the time to match the signal they're in front of with one of the openers. Otherwise, they're getting in. They have a 100% success rate. If I'm using the logic that the major is pointing out in this book, he is saying that I could put a Bitcoin Lightning wallet in my house. I could disable my garage door opener. Then I could reprogram it that it would only activate to receive a signal after I had sent some denomination of Bitcoin to my house wallet. If I zoom out on that situation, if I own the house, if I own the wallet, and I own the Bitcoin, this doesn't cost me anything. I'm just moving it from one address to another. But if a criminal comes up and starts clicking one of those garage door openers, they're going to be greeted with an invoice saying, no, you have to pay to execute this operation. Then the odds are they're just going to the next house. When I came up with that scenario, I thought it was obvious to any and everyone that knew anything about Bitcoin or knew anything about cybersecurity, and I just wanted to go talk to people. And it was at that point that the journey began that I realized no one saw it. Everyone came up with an emotional reason why not to entertain it. And so I went off and I created 2 patents. We built it over the last 2 years. It integrates with every single identity provider out there. No one has to change their systems. It just layers in. And the result is you should have no unauthorized access attempts, or you should have a dollar value equating to the unauthorized access attempts the next day.
So, Mike, your solution is if somebody tries to enter, you present them with a $10,000 invoice.
Whatever the company decides, 10,000, 500, a million, what's your data worth?
And if they pay that, they can enter?
No, we inadvertently realized we discovered a new factor to identity. So the moment they pay, we know if they're legitimate or not. We capture about 300 points of telemetry data on them. We send advanced breach alerts to let the incident response team know you are about to be breached by this user account. Here's all the telemetry data that we collected. And really, it's up to the customer what they want to do. Do they want to stop them? Do they want to honeypot them? Do they want to let them in and, I don't know, spin them around, gather more information? Yeah.
But does the Bitcoin get exchanged?
We take care of all of that for you on your behalf. No users have to hold Bitcoin. We are completely compliant and within regulation of everything. We make the transaction on your behalf, but the way that it works is we can recognize if you're authorized so fast that we're able to cancel that transaction before it actually even occurs. Yeah.
What a novel idea. Okay, you want to get in? Sure, here's a $10,000 invoice.
That's
and once
right.
they start to pay it, they'll start surrendering information of what you can capture. And
That's right.
That's incredible.
Thanks. It shifts the risk profile around. Now the attacker inherits the risk.
Fascinating. And so what we have now is 2-factor, multi-factor authentication. You say it works with those providers.
Yeah. So we'll tag in, like if you're with Microsoft Entra, we'll tag in as a conditional access policy. In essence, what's being generated is a FIDO2 passkey that our invoice is sniffing out and looking for along with the payment. You would onboard your users. You would add us as a conditional access policy. You would log in to your identity provider or your applications as normal. You can choose to have us work in conjunction with multi-factor authentication, or you can replace your multi-factor authentication, save your company money, less friction for the end user, and yeah, that's how it works.
And what's pushback? What does pushback mean? Why would everybody adopt this?
It's just so new. People are trying to get their head around it right now. But
novel.
The MSPs that we're working with, they're loving it.
Of course they are. And so the MSPs installing it internal and then pushing it out to their clients.
That's right.
And I'm just trying to really wrap my head around that. It's fascinating. And you put patents on this. What was that process like?
That was fun. So, like I said, I encountered a lot of emotional pushback. From everyone I encountered. If I went to Bitcoiners got mad and didn't want to think about the idea because Major Lowry referred to Bitcoin as a digital weapons system.
Oh, the actual platform.
Yeah, there's a very specific reason that we use Bitcoin, and it has nothing to do with what everyone talks about. It has everything to do with its proof of work. It has to do with this scaled lightning network, the fact that there's no intermediaries in between. So as soon as someone hits send, that's it. It's instant, it's final. There's no do-overs, no chargebacks, no taking it back. The mechanisms of Bitcoin as itself are that it's based on proof of work. So machines are brute force guessing every 10 minutes, as this is what they call to the rights to mine a block. The process of all of these machines mining for a block, guessing, has created a wall of energy that's about equivalent to 15 nuclear power plants running at full capacity.
Jeez.
The only way to have a shot at changing this algorithm, increasing the supply, erasing transactions, anything, would be to be able to produce that amount of energy and sustain it and point it at that network. It's just not probable anymore. So what happens is you have this digitally scarce token with an independent value that requires energy consumption to create, and it makes it the hardest form of a value to steal or compromise, to use as ammunition against your system.
Wow.
So, sorry, I digress. What was the patent like?
Yeah.
Well, I was frustrated that Bitcoiners didn't see the concept here. I was frustrated when I went to cybersecurity professionals that they would laugh me out of the room. Now, meanwhile, internally, I'm processing this, that they're laughing at the
Why are they laughing at you?
They don't understand it.
Right.
But internally, when they're doing this, it's really bothering me because I'm concerned about my son's future.
Right.
And you're not even willing to entertain these concepts. You're supposed to be the professionals here. So I took all of that emotion and I just dumped it into a patent so that I by thinking, if I create this, I can show it to people and then they would get it. And once I did that, then I started going to the identity providers, the Oktas, the Microsofts, the Pings. Take this technology and give it to your customers. And it was so new to them, I don't know, they needed to see it. So then I had to build it. I never wanted to build a cybersecurity company.
Wow.
I never wanted to launch a startup. I just wanted this technology to exist for my kid.
And now you've gone from inventor to being founder of a company. I mean, these are very different waters now.
Yeah. I'm thankful for my team. I have a team of incredibly experienced cybersecurity professionals, from engineers to dev operations to sales, and just like my CTO, he's like my right-hand man. They've made it really easy. I constantly tell them I don't know what I'm doing, but we're going to get through it together, and we do. And we have achieved some significant milestones along the way, yes. So,
what if discipline wasn't about punishment, but about unlocking your best self? I spent 2.5 years writing Discipline for Greatness because discipline changed my life. And I know it can change yours too. This isn't theory. Inside, you'll find real, practical steps you can use immediately to focus better, build stronger habits, reduce stress, accomplish your goals, and bring more balance to your life. Whether you're trying to get healthier, improve your career, or simply feel more control, this book gives you the framework. Start today. Grab your copy of Discipline for Greatness at joeypinz.com/book. Thank you. And do you need MFA for this to ride on? What are the requirements?
Yeah, so we can act as an independent identity provider, provide you SSO. We can run it through a mobile app. We can run it through military CAT cards.
Single sign-on,
yes.
Just your acronyms
right.
for the audience. Yeah.
But what we learned when we were at Black Hat was that no matter how cool the solution is, they already have an identity provider, and they don't want to change that. It works for their business. Their business is getting in, getting out. So what we decided was we're just going to layer into those identity providers initially. We're going to come out as a pay factor authentication that you can use to work in conjunction with your multi-factor. You can replace your multi-factor. You remain in complete control. And we can have your whole organization set up with all of your users onboarded in less than an hour. We collect 300 points of telemetry data on both the device that they're using to authenticate in with and the device that they're authenticating on. We can skim users in from your source of truth. We can feed your SEIM system, SEIM system. Sorry, my background's not in cyber, but we are a bona fide cybersecurity solution offering greater protection at a fraction of the cost of what you're paying currently.
And your advice, Mike, to those who founded a great technology like this, or any invention at all, to becoming a business owner and a CEO is what?
Always tell the truth,
Yeah.
be honest, be willing to sacrifice, and don't do it for the money, man.
Right. How did you come upon MSPs?
They're in the business of security and technology. They're always looking for ways to improve their operations. They remain sort of open. It just seemed like a natural fit to start talking to them. And then little by little, we started realizing that it's a very symbiotic relationship. They gain a lot of benefit from using us. And so at the end of the day, I'm not interested. I'm interested in this technology spreading all across the web and becoming a new foundation for how we think of cybersecurity. So it just makes a lot of sense. I like to share. They like to share. It works.
Will quantum affect this at all?
That's an interesting question, right? So we like to pose that we're an AI deterrent and quantum resistant.
AI deterrent, quantum resistant.
Yeah. So think of it. AI agents are getting better at the hacks now. Let's just even assume it gets to a higher level of intelligence. The laws of supply and demand still apply here, because that's what the realities of this world are: supply and demand. So if you're limited in supply, and then the demand to get in is higher than the supply you can acquire, you have theoretically stopped, or at least offered a deterrence to AI through that avenue. They have to go find some other way. Quantum, I say all of this very humbly.
Right.
Quantum, potentially the same solution. You could have a quantum computer that's going to do 300 tries at one shot. All 300 of those tries require an invoice that has to be paid there. So we'll see what happens. That's a wacky world of quantum. So
because the superposition is there. It can be both on and off. So how's it? There's a lot of area there where we're going to have to really figure that out, aren't we?
We are.
Is there a question, Mike, that you wish more people would ask you?
It's a good question. Maybe where do I see this going in the future?
And where do you?
I see it going to the fact that individual consumers are going to...
Consumers?
I don't see us in the future creating our own passwords anymore. I see us going in networks that we want to be in, and we're going to buy a password for that network. Then we're going to trade that password in, and that password's going to give us a level of rights. Maybe we start off at the basic one of saying, look, I'm gonna buy your password and I get access to go into your network. If I violate terms of service, you're not gonna block me, suspend me, or anything like that. We're gonna make an agreement that you're gonna end my session, you're gonna take my pass key from me, but you're gonna invite me right back in. I just have to buy another pass key. If you can get that in play, so sorry. If you can get that in play where it actually requires cost to join a network, you start to remove a lot of the bot traffic. Maybe we start to have more mentally healthier experience when we're on these networks, because we're not being inundated with information that's just purposely meant to mislead us. And maybe you could take it further. Maybe you can say, you know what, I want to get the higher tier of that pass key, and maybe you're not going to sell my data to any advertisers anymore. Maybe we start to align nature and technology together, and we blend it a little bit more, because the risk is not, it doesn't exist in cyberspace too much. Let me take that back. There's a ton of risk in cyberspace, but there's really, it's very hard to have consequences, and they get it wrong all the time. So I've been blocked on social media once for arguing with a fellow college football player, a fan, and I don't even think I said anything wrong. I told him to go jump in the ocean, and I was suspended for that.
Wow.
And that felt very violating to me. So the overcorrect, it's not really a risk. It's more of an annoyance, and the overcorrection, and they get it wrong sometimes. It feels like I'm losing my rights. So if I can establish more rights in cyberspace, with there being a real risk, I could lose something for doing something wrong. That seems to be more in line with nature.
What keeps you up at night about this? What worries you?
About this?
Yeah.
Runway. Am I going to be able to? This technology is a little bit ahead of its time.
Right.
So
it's novel. It's unique.
Yes. So my thing is, can I get to enough customers and make the pitch to them that they come on before I run out of runway? That's about it.
Is there something you believed in foundationally, completely 10 years ago that you no longer believe now?
Give me a sec on that one.
Of course, you take your time. 10 years ago.
Foundationally, huh? How old a man are you? 43. 43.
So you'd be 33.
Yeah, 33. Man, so much has changed foundationally. So much has changed in all these years. I never thought... Yeah, okay. When I saw the Canadian trucker protest and they seized money, I never thought I would see something like that, and that immediately... I think that's what opened the door to me to think about Bitcoin a little bit. Like, is this money really mine? If they can just take it, if they can do whatever they want. And at that point, I realized, I think I began to realize maybe the government really isn't our friend, and that might have been a foundational change.
Interesting. Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypinz.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it.
Yeah.
So I started my MSP, Mike, in the 90s. I'm a little older than you, and I was working way too hard, not paying attention to myself, 14, 16-hour days. You're no stranger to this. Not eating well, not exercising. I'm in front of the doctor. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds.
You?
Yeah. So I had gained all this terrible amount of weight. But then she tells me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me, you can imagine. You've got a son.
Yep.
I'm driving home, punching the steering wheel. You know, I did this to myself. I can abuse myself all I want, but it's much bigger than me now. Next 6-7 months, lost about 130 pounds, kept it off. You know, you can't look at these things like a finishing line, right? These are lifelong changes. When I tell people this story, they always say, what's your secret, what you do? I say, look, it's just discipline. Right? Motivation, routine, focus. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Discipline? Oh, discipline's everything. People ask me right now, what are my hobbies? And I tell them, I don't know. I'm on a mission. So every single thing is about discipline. I pride myself on two main principles when doing business. One is do what you say you're going to do and always tell the truth. And both of those require an enormous amount of discipline.
They sure do.
I do need to apply it back to my health, though.
Yeah, we all do. We all fall short. In the military, there's a certain amount of discipline that's enacted there.
Yeah.
Did that correct? Did that pull back? As a child, were you disciplined?
No. At age 13, I stole a car and drove to Key West simply because people said I wouldn't do it.
Wow.
No, I got in a lot of trouble. It was after 9/11. I just wanted to be of service, and I take service, I take duty very seriously. So for that, I'll be extremely disciplined, yeah.
Mike, I'm so glad you stopped by, man. How can people get in touch with you, whoever's listening?
Yeah, go to authln.com.
Auth, A-U-T-H-L-N. What is L-N?
Lightning Network.
Of course, authln.com.
Yep. Or you can email us at contact@authln.com. We'd love to work with MSPs, more of them. They're finding a lot of benefit, saving a lot of time on SOC compliance for all the unauthorized attempts. It's providing additional security. It's differentiating them in the marketplace, and it's becoming a revenue driver for our current customers.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.